if you've ever felt like you don't need anybody, that when you get close to somebody, it just feels really awful and awkward and you need to run away, you may have a dismissive, avoidant attachment style. So, there's no blaming here. We're not blaming mom and dad. We're giving a explanation of why you have this attachment style. So whether this is whoever your primary caregiver was, whether this was your biological mother or any other family member or primary caregiver in your life, the way you bonded with them really affects how you relate to people in adulthood. So we're going to talk about a couple psychological studies. We're going to talk about the strange situation. We're going to talk about still face, experiment, and how developmental traumas really impact these avoidant behaviors. So basically, there's 4 attachment styles. And ideally, we want to get out of childhood a secure attachment. So that means that we're able to have healthy relationships with others. We're able to get along with family and friends, and we're able to accept the good and bad parts of people and really see the whole person rather than all good, all bad. And then we're going to talk about how religious trauma and religious doctrine and emotional suppression really impacts your attachment style. And then how do we heal from this? So right now, I mean, we're therapists. We're all coming from, it's really encouraged to come from a trauma-informed place, and that we're not pathologizing people and just kind of writing people off as, oh, this is a personality disorder. You can't help them. They're a lost cause, because they used to say that about alcoholics, right? Like in the 30s, like they're hopeless. They talk about this in the book. Like there's no way you can help an alcoholic. Well, we know that's not true now. So that's the same way about personality disorders, that I really think that uh, we are coming from trauma focused and not shaming people for learned behavior. So what we learned in that first 3 years of life and how we respond to people worked for us when we were little. And then when we are getting adulthood and we're having issues, staying married or unable to have a job, those early learned survival skills aren't working now. So I've made some notes. I'm just gonna kind of go through them. So if you see me looking down here. So John Bowlby, he's, the father of attachment. He really got the ball rolling on um, talking about how caregivers, how they attune to their children, helps them develop safety. When caregivers are physically and emotionally unavailable, if they're rejecting, if you're unable to express your emotions, they're uncomfortable with children crying, uncomfortable with children's big feelings, then the child is going to adapt. And they adapt by avoiding. So we're going to talk about dismissive attachment here. So basically, in our internal working models, is, am I worthy of comfort? Is the world safe? Are others safe? Is, when I cry, are caregivers going to take care of me? Is it reliable? Is it Um, is it safe? When I cry, do I know that my caregiver is going to come, comfort me, take care of me, have me feel safe? And then this gets embedded in our nervous system. Um, so the strange situation is really a cool experiment. It's been repeated and repeated and repeated. So the strange situation was created by Mary Ainsworth, and this is how to observe the way infants respond to stress when their mother leaves a room. So basically, it's set up where a caregiver and infant come into the room with choice, and then a stranger comes in, and then the caregiver leaves the room. The infant is alone briefly, and then the caregiver returns. This is not supposed to traumatize the child. This is observing how the child regulates and repairs the relationship. So in secure infants, the caregiver is a secure base, right? Um, so Bowlby's book is secure base. So the shows, the baby's going to show some distress when their mother caregiver leaves the room. And then when they return, the baby is able to get comforted by the caregiver, calm down quickly. So they may cry. That's normal. And then they feel comforted, and then they're able to uh, go on and play. Now, if an infant has an insecure attachment, if they have an avoidant attachment style with their mother caregiver, then they're going to go off, explore independently. They're not going to really show distress. They're not going to have eye contact when the mother returns. They're not going to run up to the mother. They're not going to seek comfort, physical comfort. So at first, you think this infant, this young child, is confident, because we, especially in Western culture, we really emphasize independence, and so we're like, oh, well, this kid is fine. They don't need this caregiver. They're very independent. But physiologically, they're stressed. So their little bodies are activated. Um, they're just taught not to show it, right? So as babies, they learn that if I cry, my needs aren't going to get met. So what's the point? So expressing distress didn't help soothe. So when I was, when a baby is stressed out, um, they're dismissed. The caregiver is really irritated. Like, what are you doing? Why are you crying again? Right. So what I'm saying is basically, a parent can't be 100% on it. Right. So there's times when you're going to be irritated. This is when it's consistently. This is when it happens over and over again. That when you're irritated, when you're not attuning to your child, that's when they become emotionally withdrawn, right? And then the nervous system learns to suppress the signals. And so they're in avoidant attachment. Babies learn to suppress their needs. Because what's the point? If my needs aren't getting met, then why have needs? Another experiment is still face experiment. So this is how you can see trauma in real time, right? So this demonstrates how infants attunement. I brought up attunement before. So this is, and I'm just going to say mother because it's your primary caregiver, and So the mother's here, the baby's here, and oohing and cooing, and mom's going, ooh, yay, baby, and the baby's smiling. And then the mother just like still face, right? Doesn't acknowledge. And so then the baby's like, hello, coo with me, play with me. And then the baby even tries harder, trying to gauge mom, smiling, pointing. And when that doesn't work, the baby starts crying, the baby's looking away, the baby's really distressed, right? So this is dysregulated, which is normal because babies aren't able to regulate yet. So it's shorter periods of emotional unavailability cause stress, right? So this happens for 2 minutes. And within 2 minutes, you can see how a baby learns to either shut down and dismiss their own emotions, their own needs, and or get really anxious and crying and are unable to control themselves. So imagine this happening at birth, at year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. So this is called developmental trauma. And developmental trauma is children not getting their needs met